Hello, hello, and welcome back to the On the Real with Andrew podcast, where me and my revolving group of friends discuss any and everything in the world of film and TV. I'm your host, Andrew Washington, and joining me today is not a new friend of the podcast. He's been on once before, but new in the capacity of a co-host, Blake.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. Blake was here last for when I interviewed the Welcome Week crew and one of the cast members. So his voice should sound familiar. But it's always great to talk to you, and it's finally good to have you on the pod to talk about some more movies other than just the ones that you make.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, you've been here before, but we can just kind of guide you through. We like to start with some things that you've been watching and what you've been going through, just like watch list wise or TV, whatever. So Blake, what have you been watching?
All right. So my problem is I'm not a television guy, so I'm not tapped into Severance or Adolescence, but
that's real. Adolescence is really good, though.
I do want to watch it. I did enjoy Philip Berntini, I think, his movie Boiling Point, which is done in that same one take style.
With Stephen Graham as well, yes. Right? Yeah.
And then they made a mini series of Boiling Point too, but it was overshadowed by The Bear. But so what have I been watching? I've been watching a good deal of short films. I've been watching the animated films of Vince Collins. They're very, very experimental. He won some accolades for his 2D animation in the 70s and 80s, but he moved into 3D animation kind of hard, and suddenly his animation looked very ugly. You know, I believe in the power of ugly art, but gosh, I just don't like watching the 3D that much.
How old are they?
Oh, like he was one of the early independent 3D animators, and he's still animating to this day. Although occasionally he makes, like, he hates AI, but he makes like an AI generated short film, like once in a while to show like how shit it is.
Right.
You know?
That's real. I have to say short films are an admitted blind spot for me. I don't find myself watching as many as I do. Not as many as I do. Just not watching as many as I do like feature films is what I meant.
Naturally.
And I don't know if it's because they're harder to find. I mean, I subscribe to Criterion channel, so you know there is like they have a lot of short films on there, but that, as far as I know, is the only streaming service that kind of has like that big of a library of like short films to like, you know, access and stuff. So I've seen a few on there, but otherwise, you know, outside of films that I have to, you know, watch for class or am shown in classes, it's not something that I look at that much. So I need to get more into those. I feel like a lot of times I'm talking to you, or not a lot, but there have been times more than with other people where we end up talking about short films, or like you're always telling me about short films that you're watching. I just feel like it's really not impressive is the wrong word, but just like, you know, it's good of you to keep those in the loop.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think we mentioned this last time I was on the pod, but here at we're film students. It's all we're making. And
right.
I think the problem with a lot of student films is that their only reference is feature films. Sometimes they're trying to pack a feature story into a short film story, which even my short film to some degree is meant to it wasn't originally this way, but now I've kind of approached the one I just made. I've approached it as proof of concept for a feature, but it's good to watch short films. It's good to go back to the very roots of your art form, which short filmmaking sort of is. Well, and I mean, the roots of our art form is those little picture things you flip about. But
yeah. No, that's a really good point. Actually, I had not like thought of at least the avenue of like, you know, students don't look at short films for short film inspiration. That's that, and I think that interestingly contextualizes or recontextualizes a lot of screenwriting classes that I've been to, and like why there's a lot of issues with, or not necessarily a lot of issues with student scripts, but why a lot of student scripts might have issues or at least issues that I have with student scripts. I also personally, just as a writer, for that exact reason, though, like, don't like writing shorts because I know that the ideas that I have are meant for features. So it's like I don't try to put something or package something into a short if I can't. I also just don't really come up with ideas that can be told in less than 40 minutes.
Then you shouldn't force it. If it has to be a feature, it has to be a feature. And you should write as a feature.
Yeah, no, that's my MO, what I go towards. But no, that's interesting. There is a movie that I know that we have both seen, though.
Yes.
That came out this month. That is definitely a feature length something that came out.
Freaky Tales, right? That's what we're talking about. Everyone saw that movie.
Absolutely, everyone saw Freaky Tales. No, we're talking about a Minecraft movie.
Yeah,
the recent adaptation of the popular PC. Is it PC only?
Or it started as PC. Now PC. It's on like every platform, which helps it be like the best-selling game.
Yeah,
you can get it on your phone.
Yeah. But so the adaptation of the very popular Minecraft video game that was very popular for our generation specifically.
Absolutely, yeah. Before I had movies, before I had horror films, I had Minecraft YouTubers and Star Wars lightsaber duels on YouTube. I watched so much Minecraft, and it was kind of a jump scare when, oh shoot, Dan TDM from the Diamond Minecart. I didn't recognize any of the other cameos, but I knew Kim.
Well, hold on, let's just explain the movie a little bit before we get more into it. Concept of the game is you play as this guy named Steve that lives in the what's it called, the overworld.
Oh, the overworld, but you can as
just the Minecraft.
You can
world.
Be anybody.
Yeah, you can be anybody, but like Steve is the guy that people know, and you build shit out of shit that you destroyed. And night comes every 20 minutes.
But you can do whatever in it.
But you can do whatever in it. The movie kind of takes that and Jumanji's it and puts some people from the real world into the Minecraft world after they find the thing that looked like the cube from the Avengers, but I don't.
I think it's meant to be the beacon from Minecraft, but it doesn't do the. Like, there's a thing in Minecraft that gives you superpowers, but it doesn't do that in the movie. But it looks like the beacon from Minecraft. So
okay. Well, yeah, just basically it's a cube and a box, and when you put it together, it opens a portal to Minecraft. And so it's a little boy, his older sister, this aging basically video game champion from like the late 80s, and their neighbor.
Yeah, she's like a real estate agent.
She's like a real estate agent,
but she's like helping them out.
She's played by Danielle Brooks. And we'll get more into why I really dislike her character in a second. And then they meet Steve, played by Jack Black, in the Minecraft world. And then I don't even really know what the plot is. Like, they have to get out.
They have to get out, but they lose the device to some evil sorcerer, which is not in Minecraft, but they needed a villain naturally.
Yeah. It gets way more convoluted, but that really is not what the movie's about. The movie is about Chicken Jockey. It's about Flint and Steel.
Yes, they just named stuff from the game, and that's like, hey guys, we did our homework like the Mario movie.
Exactly like the Mario movie. And it's the same exact weekend, like release slot too. The first weekend of April.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Last year, it was this movie was the Mario movie, and it made $1 billion. And then I don't know if this one is.
I don't know if it's gonna make $1 billion.
Maybe not, but
like Mario,
it's getting close.
Fine, like it feels like an actual movie.
Yeah,
like this Minecraft movie. I as a little kid, I watched Minecraft machinimas and animation. Machinimas were like when you like make a movie in the game. I was like, but I watched like that were videos that were like 50 times more cinematic than this. Like, some genuinely passionate people made their little stories in Minecraft, but I don't know.
No, there's too many things wrong with this movie. It doesn't feel like it's a real movie in so many ways. Like, I mean, the experience of it, I'll say, enjoyed to a certain degree because part of I guess I don't know if it's hype, but just like part of the circumstances of this movie since it's come out is that there are teenagers that have like taken to the meme life of this movie and brought it to the theater in the sense that there's almost like a call and response action throughout when, you know, Jack Black delivers certain lines. Most of said lines are just him saying something from the game, like, you know, Flint and Steel, Chicken Jockey, I am Steve. I mean, I don't think Steve says that in the game. No, yeah. No, but like, you know, Steve. No, yeah, he's Steve. Like that, like that's literally that's what it is. But throughout the entire film, like it's not just like, you know, a bunch of shit packaged into the first like 20 minutes that everybody's cheering at, and then it's nothing for the rest of it. Like I saw it with an audience that was completely active the entire time. Yeah. I had like a pair of teenagers next to me that were throwing popcorn like at their friends that were like 2 or 3 rows up. Like throughout the whole movie they were throwing back and forth, and like, you know, throughout everybody applauding and cheering. And then Chicken Jockey, of course, was like everybody stood up and it was like, you know, screaming and everything. And at a point I disliked the movie so much I was like, I'll get in with the crowd. I'm like, I'm gonna have fun some kind of way. So the experience of it, I think, was about 15 times more interesting.
Whatever brings people to the theaters.
Whatever brings people to the theaters. I not necessarily, you know, whatever brings people with chickens to the theater, because it's gotten to the point where people are bringing live chickens to the movie theaters and are, you know, causing all kinds of hell and chaos way more than they were at the Century City on April 5th. But the movie itself, though, is dog shit.
No, awful.
It's written with no sense of intelligence almost. No, like it's
a lot of pop culture references too.
No, and Danielle Brooks's character that I mentioned earlier, like we said, she fits exactly into the stereotype of the fat black best friend. Like every single bit. Like if you look at the black girl from Good Luck Charlie, that is literally Danielle Brooks's character in this. I mean, not that I would have thought that a Minecraft movie would have taken a chance to, you know, be smart and not like, you know, play into everything wrong about how white people represent black people. But it is so blatantly like just bad and wrong. At least in terms of like that kind of representation. I'm like, how did nobody catch that? Like she literally, most of her lines or scenes are just like cuts to her being like, "What the hell? Yeah. What the heck? This is crazy. Oh my God," saying it exactly like that. And she's like shaking her head and rolling her neck and rolling her eyes. That's all that she does. And that, like, I'm like, what are we doing here?
I don't even know why she was there, but
she was. Oh my God, she was there for no reason. The guy that directed this did Napoleon Dynamite, right?
Yeah, and
so
he worked with Jack Black.
He has, and Nacho Libre,
another kind of racially insensitive film.
Yeah, my hot take about Napoleon Dynamite: I'm not the biggest fan.
I haven't seen it. I must admit.
That's interesting. Mind you, for the audience, Blake is like, you're talking about like someone that's seen so much of almost anything. Like that's Blake Douglas. But I fear I might have seen it too young. I will watch it again at a point to see if my opinion changes. But when I watched it when I was a kid, which I feel like is probably more the time that you're supposed to see it, I was like, what?
Yeah, I know everyone in my class loved it. Like all my 8th grade friends would reference it. So I kind of absorbed a lot of Napoleon Dynamite vicariously, and I expected eventually I'm going to watch this at like a party or something. Mm-hmm. Someone put it on at a party, so I didn't see like a bit of it, but it was on Halloween night. I was a bit distracted. So I never saw the full thing just because
my parents told me to watch it. They're like, oh, it's really funny, and then I watched it. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Mind you, this was at the age when I did not have much of a mind about what was good versus bad. I kind of liked everything that I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was
like, you know, so I'm like, for me to watch something and be like, I don't really like this, I'm like, I probably really don't like the movie.
It's very straight-faced humor.
Yeah, it is. And I think as I grew up, I grew to appreciate that kind of humor more. That's why I say I might like it more if I watch it, if I rewatch it. But I say all of this to say, you know, Jared has not had a good track record for me. So like, you know, there's so many things were contributing to me not liking this movie, and it did absolutely nothing to avoid me disliking this movie, and didn't even try.
And it's just like, as someone said, like, yes, it's for kids, but you know, some dogs like to eat their own shit. I'm gonna feed them that.
Right, exactly. But listen, whoever came up with it, they ate, because that's true. But yeah, that's enough on Minecraft. I don't care to talk too much more about it, but it was released. It came out.
I watched it. Next, after Drop, go watch Drop.
We saw Drop together, which another stupid movie, but a fun kind of stupid, I think.
And sincere. Like,
yeah,
I think genuinely kind of sincere with some, and LMU grad Christopher Landon.
Yes. Shout out to Christopher Landon. Even though I believe that was the first film of his that I had seen. I haven't seen Happy Death Day or like Freaky.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate Drop. I just thought, like I said, I thought it was kind of stupid, but I still enjoyed it. It reminded me so much of Trap.
Yeah, Trap, like Red Eye, that kind of. Single location, but big single location thriller. If you like Red Eye, you'll love Trap. You'll love Drop.
Drop, yeah. I think I gave it the same score on Letterboxd as Trap.
I love Trap. I think it's one of the best of these.
You like Trap?
I love Trap.
You love Trap, yeah. Okay, I was not, I mean, again, M. Night is just not, you know, I don't go for him. I understand in a way the people that love him, because, you know, his films are very specific to him. But I just think I just can't really vibe with it. Well, no, there's a handful of other movies that I wanted to mention before we get into our main.
Naturally, let's talk.
The first one is a movie that I know that you've seen. The rest of them, I'm not sure, but I know that you've seen House. Obayashi's.
Yes. Yeah. We're talking about House now.
Yeah, yes, we're going to talk a little bit about House. I watched House. How long ago was that? A little over a week ago.
Okay.
For the first time, and loved it.
Nice.
I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is the most gorgeous like green screen I've ever seen.
The green screen auteur. Like all his movies are against a green screen.
No, I've seen Casting Blossoms into the Sky and Beijing Watermelon.
I'm so
only
grateful
two of his that I've seen.
Arrow finally brought these films to the West, because for a while they just weren't available. But Arrow finally picked up.
Because he's fairly prolific, no? Like he has a lot of
He
films.
was one of the most prolific filmmakers in Japan, and just kept making these low-budget, bizarre genre films that were so strange. It's always so mesmerizing.
I know they're so unique, and they're impressive in different ways. But was House his first
film?
Yeah.
So he was a commercial director. He was a commercial filmmaker. He directed commercials, and a bunch of Japanese execs were like, "We need our version of Jaws." And as the story goes, it's like he kind of slid this script to them while they were on vacation, and they read it maybe while they were on a bunch of drugs, and we're like, "This is it. This is our Jaws." But then they didn't want him to direct it for whatever reason. So they bought him the script, but they were looking for a director, and no one was biting. So they were just bouncing from person to person, which this script he co-wrote with his 13-year-old daughter, who would be like, you know, it would be scary if there was someone in the clock. She just, I mean, not even 13, probably way younger than that. No, probably younger than 13, but she would, but because a kid's mind works so differently, like what's scary to a kid?
Right.
Like what if a head was floating at me? That they have such a completely different imagination. So she came up with all these weird ideas. Or the piano ate me.
Yeah.
Was her.
Oh my God. Some of it, I was like, I just don't even know how you come up with it. But since you say like it was a 7-year-old coming up, that makes so much sense. Yeah. It makes so much fucking sense. I'm like, that's probably why it was so fun, because it tapped into something that was more like I mean, it felt like something that I would have enjoyed when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Or like I would have been like, not that, I mean, I wasn't like scared by it, but I'm like, I probably would have, like, if I was watching this horror movie when I was a kid, I would have been like, oh my God, but I would have loved it. Mm-hmm. Like same with, I believe I told you about when I watched Altered States for the first time. I was like, this is a movie where like, I don't know that I would have watched it because of the label, but if I did watch it, I would have loved it when I was like 12.
Yeah. It's one of the few like older films I've seen twice in the theater.
House or Altered
States?
Oh, okay.
Ken Russell's Altered States. Probably the best rom-com ever made.
You said that to me, and that's such a fun. If anybody's seen Altered States, it's kind of a funny statement to make, but it makes sense in a way, though.
Yeah. I saw South Park referencing it once. It was Eric Cartman turns into the worm. It's
oh my goodness. For the audience, though, if anybody is a fan of The Substance, as I've talked about many times on this podcast, watch Altered States.
Please.
It borrows a lot and takes a lot of influence from Altered States. So check that out. But yeah, loved House. There's the only other movie that I gave 5 stars this month. House was one. Yes. The other was a movie called 1, 2, 3 by Billy Wilder. Have you seen?
No.
Okay. It's not available to like stream anywhere. I rented the DVD from the library at school. It's set in Berlin, but like pre-Berlin Wall. But right before the Berlin Wall was like erected. So there's still like East and West Berlin, but you can like go between the two. And it's about the guy that's like in charge of the offices of Coca-Cola in Berlin. And he and his wife are placed in charge of his boss's daughter for like a summer. And like the head of Coca-Cola in America. And at the end of the summer, like right before, like the day before his boss is coming to get his daughter, he finds out that the girl married a communist from the other side of Berlin. I can't remember which side was the communist side. But so then it becomes this like, you know, communism versus capitalism, like, and then how it like, but very fun. It's so funny. It's so fucking funny. And I'm not one to, I enjoy older films, but like, I don't ever find them that funny. Like even when they're meant to be comedies, like I'm like, I understand where the joke is supposed to be, but it's just
attached.
Yeah. This movie, I was cackling. Like it's very topical to that time period. Like it's from 1961 and it is talking about a lot of the politics around that time. Like they name drop a lot of like politicians and stuff that were around then. But what's also like interesting, just contextually, they were filming it in Berlin when the like wall went up.
Oh my God.
Like the wall went up in the middle of production. And so then it like, you know, was making shit weird. But it's like, it at times felt like the funniest like review of like the Cold War. But also it was just like so well written. It felt like, I mean, it was based on a play. And so it still has a lot of that in its core, like of the story. Cause there's, you know, a lot of longer dialogue scenes, like, you know, within certain just like chambers and sections, but like the dialogue is so quick and it's so like witty and funny. The first big kind of argument scene between James Cagney, who plays the Coca-Cola guy in Berlin, and and I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays the communist husband.
Oh, of course.
They have this like really long kind of back and forth, like just jabbing at each other. It's literally like, you know, capitalism personified, communism personified, them like going back and forth with each other. But it's like, for a movie from 1961 to contain So yes, obviously it still leans pro capitalism because it's America,
Yes.
but the shit that old communist guy was saying, he was like low key eating up. He was low key eating James Cagney up, like not in like a, I mean, obviously the film wants you to not be on his side, but I'm like, he's kind of like, a lot of what he's saying is like really, really correct. There's such great and clever interplay between the three of them, being it's the two of them, and then the daughter is also present in the scene. She kind of represents a more like, not necessarily like, ignorant of politics, but she's like, she is the go-between. And so she kind of lobs some stuff at both.
Interesting.
But it smartly satirizes both capitalist and communist sentiments and takes hella jabs at both, but some like really truly scathing ones at capitalism, which was very surprising for, again, something from 1961.
Billy Wilder.
And it's Billy Wilder.
Sometimes.
That's true.
He made Sherlock Holmes kind of gay, but then chickened out at the end.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about? I
rewatched Paranormal Activity for a little project I'm doing.
Okay.
That movie is such a strange case in the horror world because
never saw it.
Because everyone hates it now. Like, I remember when I was in middle school and everyone was talking about, oh, you've seen Paranormal Activity. It's real and it's really scary. Because that's the thing. They tell you it's real scary if you allow it to be. If you allow yourself to feel like I'm watching real people do real things.
Right.
But it suffered from the fallout of jaded horror fans, just seeing it, and it is just 80 minutes of people sitting in their house and watching things move a bit, which that's what the found footage genre was. It was the true progenitor of the found footage boom. Blair Witch Project didn't really usher. It was super accessible, but it didn't usher in a lot of imitators for whatever reason. But Paranormal Activity, that blew up the whole world, and I'm trying to make a little project. We're trying to watch all of Blumhouse horror movies. And maybe we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
that'll be interesting.
First horror film.
Really? Oh, I did not know that. I because the first one was 2013. Seems too late.
2009.
2009. Okay, there was one that came out in 2013, right?
Yeah, there's 7 now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So yes, it was probably like 2 or 3. I think like this 3 came 2013, or maybe that was 2012.
The only horror franchise that I just started recently was Scary Movie.
Yeah,
which isn't even real. Exactly. No, yeah,
they're bringing it back. So,
they are, which I at this point have only seen the first one, and I really think I'll only care to see the first and second one, because those are the ones with the Wayans brothers.
Yeah.
But I do remember, I didn't think it was like the best movie ever, but it was a lot more clever than I expected.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be like, the risk with mid 2000s comedies is like, sometimes the comedy, sometimes it holds up. Sometimes it's like, how did they get away with this even in 2000?
Yeah.
And the Wayans brothers, they like to have that line, White Chicks is the best example of that. So, I was worried, and some of it goes there, but a lot of it didn't, and a lot more of it didn't. And I expected way more of it to, be on the not good side.
I remember this one thing. There was like a review or something of Paranormal, and it was, I think it was like an essay, a feminist film theory essay. Mm-hmm. And it described the opening scene of Scary Movie. A woman's breasts are graphically sliced off, and then I watched the movie, and it's like a cartoon, and I'm like,
yeah,
are you sure?
Yeah, and then the silicone thing that comes out on the knife. Yeah.
Which that's a little misogynistic, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think we watched the same movie.
No, not at all. There's like there's a lot of gay jokes in it because one of the Wayans brothers plays a guy that is like very clearly DL, but like his girlfriend doesn't recognize it. Which I don't know if that was a specific plot from a certain movie, because they parodied in the first one. It was Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, all those.
And
It came later than I realized. Like when
it came out in 2000.
Yeah, and Scream came out, what, 1993? Like,
I thought it was 96.
90, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, the trend of horror movies targeted towards young adults that came about in the 90s after, like, you know, with Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm blanking on the other movie because there's like
Urban Legend, I think, might have gotten some hit shots.
There's a few like clear cut like things that they are parodying in that film.
They're also just parody whatever,
but they also just parody
Matrix,
literally whatever. Maybe The Sixth Sense or something.
Oh, that probably did.
Yeah, and then they have The Ring is in a different one.
The Ring hadn't come out yet. So,
yeah,
but we hadn't launched the brief Japanese horror remake trend yet.
Yeah. So
2000s horror is weird.
2000s horror was weird, but I'll tell you what's not weird. 2025 horror.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sinners.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to talk about. Sinners. God damn this movie. Okay. Sinners is the new film from Ryan Coogler, following Black Panther Wakanda Forever was his most recent. Mm-hmm. This is his fifth film, I believe his first fully original film story, like not based on any kind of pre-existing IP, or any kind of like true story, because Fruitvale Station was an original screenplay, but based on a true story. Sinners, though, is it's a movie about so many things, but it's not it works so well, even though it's about so many things. But mostly or basically follows these two twin brothers, played both by Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler's longtime collaborator. He's been in every one of the films that he's directed. This is the fourth one where he's been in like a lead role, because Wakanda Forever was just a cameo. But these two twin brothers, they refer to themselves as the Smokestack twins. One is called Smoke, one is called Stack. And they return back to their hometown in Mississippi, in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It's Mississippi down. Everything in the story is Mississippi. My family's from Mississippi. I don't know if you know this. Not Clarksdale, but Meridian, regardless. And they return back. They're bootleggers of sorts. Yes. Because they're selling alcohol somewhat illegally,
and they've got a reputation.
And they have a reputation
for being dangerous.
Yes. I can't remember if it's explicitly stated that they like what they did. They kind of do, but I'm trying to not give spoilers in this exact moment. In about 2 minutes, we'll get into spoilers. We'll get into
go see it,
but
go watch it. Please.
Yeah, there's so much in this film. There's also there's two romantic interests on both sides. One played by Haley Steinfeld, one played by Wunmi Mosaku. But yeah, anyway, so the twins come back to like open up a juke joint, which is basically like a club, but is just in the 30s. They called it a juke joint. And then shit gets weird from there.
A little weird, a little strange, a little unusual.
A little strange, a little weird. I think that is about as far as I want to go without talking about spoilers. So I'm going to give the spoiler warning now.
Watch Sinners.
So, go watch Sinners if you haven't seen it, if you don't want to be spoiled. But if you have seen it and, are ready to get into it, or if you don't care about spoilers, there's vampires in this fucking movie.
Yeah, which I think a lot of the marketing's hit on. Like, they have to market it.
They have to market it as that, but I don't think the way that the film is kind of structured, it doesn't seem like they wanted to.
No. It was like Abigail, which was clearly the vampire thing was supposed to be a twist. And it's like just the first thing you see in the trailer, which made it not as good of an experience. But I think it's like, I don't care. I know there's vampire. Like, I'm watching this really cool period drama, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get vampires later. Cool. All right, great. Excellent.
Yeah, no, I obviously I knew going in there were vampires because again in the marketing. I think only in like the second trailer, maybe. I don't remember the first trailer being vampire heavy.
It was like Companion, where the first trailer was a little teaser. But then people started putting things together. But originally people assumed, I remember hearing a bunch of different things. Because I heard that it was just going to be a bunch of Ku Klux Klan vampires. that, there were a
couple, yeah.
They were assimilated.
Yes, yeah, no. I wouldn't say it's not necessarily presented as a twist because, like, it's set up not necessarily early on, but probably about like an hour, a little bit less than halfway through is kind of when we start to meet the vampires.
Yeah.
But like it's after maybe about an hour you spend with like our characters setting up.
Some guys putting together a little their little party. They're grabbing everyone. They grab Delroy Lindo. They grab
in such a funny supporting role. I have to say, I love Delroy Lindo in this movie. I'm a fan of him generally as an actor. I think his performance in The Five Bloods, as you see the poster on my wall behind me, is one of the best performances from this decade. Probably one of my favorite performances from a film period. So I'm always happy to see him, and I'm so glad that he was like so memorable in this movie. There's a line where when Haley Steinfeld's character was like munching on Stack, yeah, and he was like he might be in there, and then they open a door, and then they see their fucking, and then he closes the door, and he's like, "Oh, he busy, huh?"
Yeah, his line delivery was gold.
Oh my god! So, and that's part of. I'm like, this movie. It's scary at times. It's horny as shit. Oh my god!
Gleefully, yeah, beautifully horny.
Beautifully. It's funny. Like it literally hits every single emotion that you kind of like need and want in the movie. The music in the movie also, we haven't even mentioned.
The music is the spectacle. The music's what you're coming for, but you don't even realize it.
Yeah, no, we haven't even mentioned that. Music is such a pivotal aspect and part of this story because the other main character, which I also realized we haven't talked about, his name is Sammy, who is the Michael B. Jordan twins. Preacher Boy, yes. Their younger cousin.
Yeah.
Who likes to play the blues on the guitar, but his father, being a preacher, is like, oh,
you're gonna get wrapped up in
church.
Sin.
Yeah, and then like, you're gonna be a sinner and all that and da 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 da. But he can't escape the music. And there's a very key prologue in the film that sets up this idea of music being a go-between and like a through line through like different eras and like to ancestors and all different kinds of music and people in past lives and everything. And it also ties in this idea of I believe it's called a hate, yeah. Which is what they believe that the vampires are, basically like spirits that like inhabit bodies and come and like don't leave.
But if they leave, they're a boo hag. If they don't leave, they're hanged.
Yes, yeah. But then they find out that they are in fact in such a great moment also that they're not dealing with hates, they're dealing with fucking vampires.
Important distinction.
Yes, very important distinction. And it could have been corny and it could have not worked. And I feel like I've heard for a select few number of people that it didn't work. But for the most part, people are enjoying and really responding well. Not introduction, but just like, the vampires, like how they kind of get to, them being there and them like realizing they're vampires. And
they're called by, I can't remember the character's name, but Miles Caton is the actor. They're called by his song.
Yes, by his song. And that sequence, we're going to talk about that in a second. But it could have been corny because it's like, they're out of nowhere, there's vampires now, but it's something about the way that Coogler set up the story and set up this film and the way that it's structured that you don't mind it. like it fits in, this so far what has been a period, like you said, drama about like this family, basically these two twin brothers and their younger cousin, and the people in their lives as they're setting up this juke joint, and then vampires show up.
Yeah,
but it makes sense. Like Of course vampires would show up because the film makes you believe that the vampires would be there. Yeah. And also I love the way that they design the vampires because they're not like the regular kind of corny.
As they've noted, as Coogler noted, the death in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the red eyes were his inspiration.
Yeah, the red eyes. But I saw a tweet. Someone was talking about the fact that they're double fanged is also not a very common like representation, at least in films, of vampires.
Not at all.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it may or may not be more accurate to what kind of vampire mythology is.
Perhaps. I think that sounds about right, because old vampires were kind of, I mean, I've heard lots of different interpretations. I've heard that vampires shoot a little tube out and put it in your neck in very, very old vampires. They used to be ugly. They were not sexy.
Like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Like Eggers is Nosferatu.
Yeah, but Carmilla and Dracula were the sexy vampires. People always forget about Carmilla, but she came before Dracula. But
yeah. Well, now they have Michael B. Jordan as the sexy vampire.
Yes.
Another sexy vampire. But we've been talking in and out of certain, things. Is there a concrete statement that you would like to make as like your review of Sinners? You have the mic.
I love that Sinners is not just about showing us music, but music is very much immortal. Art is immortal. I kind of have the tendency to just see anything about any form of art as just being like, okay, this is about art as a whole, and it's immune to that. But I love that it likens the immortalness of the vampires to the music that they're trying to obtain and assimilate into their culture. The musician already has immortality, and so that's why they never need this immortality that the vampires are offering, and that's why. And I think that's kind of what I appreciate. And the vampires have been a metaphor for many things. They've been a metaphor for Europeans' fears of sexuality, and while this is a very sexual movie, they are not that in this at all. In fact, they are. I've thought about Invasion of the Body Snatchers several times as we've gone through this, but I think they are the most body snatcher vampires ever because of this hive mind they have going on that I, again, don't see very often. It's very unique, but just serves as this metaphor for American assimilationism as a whole. Yes, America is a melting pot, 100%. We have so many cultures, little things in this country. We don't like to acknowledge our cultural differences. We like to pretend that we're all the same, and that's kind of what the American machine does to us, especially to the immigrant population. It sort of just becomes this assimilate or die mentality, especially right now. It's a very strange time and a very topical film, so I'm glad it's out there. But I mean, that's why Jack O'Connell, I think his name is an Irishman,
exactly,
leading this charge, because a beautiful culture that has been clamped down on for so very long by outside forces that their cultural song becomes just a rallying cry for assimilationism. So it's a sad reflection.
Yeah, I definitely read this as a film about like culture preservation, like in a way. Black people have contributed so much to this country, obviously, and the film it takes the lens of music, but you can kind of look at any other influence or innovation or anything that Black people have contributed to, and then changed in terms of American society for the better. But it's very interesting with music specifically. Even in conversation with Beyonce's country album, in this way that it's music that was ours and then was, because of this assimilationism, was kind of taken and turned into something different, and not acknowledging where it came from. And so it's very, I think, clever of Coogler to take this film and then go back to the moment of where it came from. And be like, are you going to let these people in? Like, are you going to let them,
they
participate? They just want to dance. But it's like, you have to think about like there's more that's going to happen. But like, that's also another thing that I think is so fun. Like you say, they just want to dance. There's scenes of them actually dancing, like, outside, and they're great. I remember you told me you didn't see it at City Walk. You saw it at Century City. So the ratio is still a little cropped. But like, all of those dance sequences were, to the full 143, and including the sequence in the barn, like in the juke joint, not
the immortality of music is immortal already. We don't need vampirism to keep it going. But yeah,
right. But it's like, it looks like fun. They're like, we're here. We're here to party. Let us in. Like, please let us in. like invite us in. And then it's like, the onus, then it's just interesting. Coogler kind of then making it seem like, and not making it seem like, but throwing out the possibility that the onus might be on us. In certain kinds of ways. In that, I've been calling it the juke joint through time sequence. I don't know what to call that scene.
That's a good name for it.
But there's a scene about like halfway through the film. I believe it's like the midpoint.
It's the climax. It's not the climax, but the very, it's what turns this from a drama to a genre film.
It turns the story into something different, for sure. To describe the scene, when I was talking about the prologue, that was very key, and they were talking about how music kind of goes through time, and like speaks to different things. In this sequence, you see Preacher Boy performing his song, and as he's performing the song, the lines and like, all the different eras of time are connecting in, this filmic way. And so you have different kinds of characters all entering the scene. You have like people from like hip hop artists who are, on turntables, and then you have people coming in with electric guitars, and you have
like this hair rocker. That's the first thing you see.
Yeah, the first thing you see is someone walk in with an electric guitar, because it's the voiceover, is kind of repeating something from the beginning, and it's like, music speaks through time, and it like does all this shit, and then he walks in with this guitar, and the screen expands, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's a oneer also. This entire scene is one take, and it's moving through this juke joint. And as you go through, like I said, you see like people with turntables. You see like some girls twerking in the corner. You see like people from like different like African tribes, like dancing and kind of congregating, and all of these different forms of like expression that people have towards music, and or specifically like Black expression, as it comes to like how we receive music, is all kind of in this scene as he's performing the song. And then the place like lights on fire and the entire place goes up in flames, and then you just see these bodies, and just this it's joy. And I think it's so poignant, because it's like, music is that thing that, lets us be free and lets us, be loose in ourselves. And it is, like you said, it's immortal. It's the one thing that's kind of been through time that, we have connected to. And so it's like the juke joint's the club. Like I said earlier, like a juke joint is a club, but like it's the movie, it's like they at the club, like this is the 30s. Yes, they're drinking moonshine, and they're like doing, and it's like all the period. But it's like the same way that you gonna go to the club on Saturday night. These niggas are at the club in 1936, and that's what. And then like the niggas in Africa, they're at the club. The niggas that like it's that's what. And I just think it's so smart. I literally almost cried.
Yeah,
I was watching that sequence, and when it started, I was slightly confused, just because, I was like, what is going to happen here? And then as it was, it's not a very long scene.
No.
And so I was only confused for a little bit of it. But I still think I saw it, what was it, about a week ago?
Yeah. I mean, you'll be thinking about that for the rest of your life.
No, I will be thinking about it for a very long time. I think that, and when I say like I almost like genuinely like I actually was almost like my eyes were watering up. Like, I was like, I'd never seen something like that before, or at least something that was like saying something like that before. I think that scene, I mean, it's literally the centerpiece, like it's at the middle of the film, but I think it is the scene that makes this movie something fucking serious. You know, I wrote down in my notes, there's an interview that Spike Lee did. I don't know the context of the interview, but he was on a podcast or something. And he was talking about Sinners, and he was remarking that it felt like a new genre, like in and of itself, like because he was like, he went into it expecting horror, and it was, so many different things, and he was like, you can't just call it one kind of thing, and that makes it its new thing. And I don't know that I would necessarily like go as far as say like it's a new genre. I just think it fits into a lot of different genres, and it bends genre very well.
It feels almost, but it feels almost like a Korean film in that sense, where it's typical of Korean films too. There are not many Korean films that are just one genre. It is typical to have that Parasite midpoint doorbell ring. So, and in that sense, I guess by extension, it's also like From Dusk Till Dawn, but
Yeah, that's the other movie that people talked about a lot. But what I was saying before in connection to the Spike Lee thing, it felt like a lot of different kinds of exploitation cinema. And in that way, kind of fostering this new kind of exploitation cinema, because it borrows from and takes influence from a lot of it, but because of the all the different layers of genre going on, it feels like new and modern, and not as like dehumanizing in a lot of the ways that old exploitation cinema is. Like a couple of weeks ago, I watched Coffee for the first time with Pam Grier.
Yeah,
and cunty, but. On one hand, on the other hand, it's like, why was she naked the whole time? And it's like, that's the point, obviously. But it's like, why is that the point?
Show you something you can't see elsewhere. That's what an exploitation film was. And in some ways, this is trying to show us things that we will never see elsewhere. But
no, yeah, exactly. And so it's one of those things. It's one of those things that I get, but I'm also like, I can come from a weird place and has come from weird places at times. And so I feel like Coogler is just, obviously part of it is the time period that we're in now, but he, to me, just seems very careful about not going that route. I'm just glad that exploitation cinema is being kind of revisited in this way and just shaped a little differently. Because it's like people have been tweeting, they're like, Sinners has zero nudity, but is like one of the sexiest movies that like has come out like recently. And so, there's like
a set of challengers.
That is what they said of challengers as well. And I agree. And so being revisited, not in the like Tarantino way, where it's just like completely recreating and acting like there were no problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so I think what is a great quality about it is that it's so many different things, but it's not like too much of any one kind of thing. So it doesn't feel unbalanced. Like it's so many different things, but it is a great balance between all these different things. And that's why I feel like it works. Like it doesn't feel like it's doing too much, but even if it does, it still works. Like I enjoy a movie that does a lot.
I'm curious, when you saw this at City Walk, I saw it at the Metreon. In the Metreon.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
So was that in 70mm film?
Yes, it was IMAX 70mm.
Okay.
Those are, I believe, the only 2 theaters in California that are, because it's only 10 theaters in the country. Or no, sorry, 10 theaters around the world. 8 of them, I believe, are in this country, and 2 of them are in California. One is at Universal, and the other is in San Francisco, where I was last week when it came out.
Yeah, so I was wondering, this was a delightfully grainy film. I do love to see the grain, but occasionally there was a cut where the color looked almost completely different, especially in the early half hour. I especially remember in the scene where he's talking to the little girl, asking her to watch after his car. There were occasional cuts where like it would bounce between her and bounce between him, and it's like, this looks like a completely different scene. But I don't know if that was just the projection, but it was such a beautiful scene too. I I remember,
but I don't
maybe
know
it
that I
was just
noticed
a
that.
weird projection going on. I think I do need to see it again because I was worried. Many scenes from like squinting, and I'm like, what? All right, is it too dark here? Occasionally.
Now I will say there were some scenes that were dark.
Mm-hmm.
There were. Because afterwards, that was one thing that I was talking about with Tommy. He was like, there were. It was noticeable during the climax when she's like, "Come on in, motherfuckers," and and they start fighting and shit. It was dark in points, but there's a lot of scenes that are like shot in shaded areas because there's a lot of trees and greenery and stuff. And so there was one scene where I believe it was the two twins, but if it wasn't both twins, it was definitely a twin and somebody else, but they were both standing under a tree and it was a really wide shot. Annie, my God.
Annie.
I think it was like when he was at her house, maybe. But I just remember I was like, I can't see their faces. Like that was, so I did notice that at times. I think otherwise there are a couple of moments where it is dark, but otherwise I think it's gorgeous though.
It is.
It's shot very well.
And even being dark, it's like that can be an artistic choice in some way.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think I like noticed scenes where there's like, it was a little more grain. I'm like, that's like digital grain, which was fun. But I noticed the same thing in Nosferatu, but just like they weren't putting enough camera in the light. Well, I mean, they put as much light in the camera as they needed.
Right.
Just led to a little more grain, which was interesting. But
yeah, no. I mean, I saw an interview that Ryan Coogler did with his DP, and they said that There Will Be Blood was a big like visual influence.
That makes sense. That movie's dark as hell too.
That movie is very dark, but they like literally were putting kind of side by side like certain shots, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like a lot of like wide shots of the juke joint, or like the house, like the house that Jack O'Connell like goes to when to get the white people, the Klan people, like at their house, you remember? And he like jumps in the frame. Yeah, like that shot they put like next to like a still from There Will Be Blood.
Of Daniel Craig. I can see that now. Like,
yeah, and also the at the end when not Stack, but the twin that's not a vampire and Preacher Boy are like watching the juke joint like burn. That is a reference to in There Will Be Blood. There's a scene or a shot of Daniel Day-Lewis, and I can't remember which other character it is, but it's the same like that same like kind of dark blue sky.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I think I know the scene you're talking about.
But it's I think they're watching like in oil.
The oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot up, yeah.
So I say all this. The references that they've kind of been talking about and have been pulling from have been very wide ranging, but I love that. Like literally, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish to There Will Be Blood.
As they should be. Our films should be made up of many different experiences, not just other films too. But
exactly. So I think this movie is some kind of genius. I don't think it's perfect by any means. I mean, not by any means, but I don't think it's perfect. There were scenes where I'm like, there's some exposition dumps that I thought could have been like a little bit tidier. I'm trying to. I mean, certain
like
scenes
major problems. I didn't have any major problems.
No, nothing major is the thing. Like I ended up with I was between 4.5 and 5, and I was only leaning towards 5, not because I thought it was like a perfect 5-star movie, but because of my experience, how it moved me, and also just what I feel like this can mean for kind of future films and stories like
Naturally, this a historic deal for Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Only ever dealt out to likes of like Quentin Tarantino, where he gets the rights to this movie back in 25 years, which apparently execs don't like, but I mean,
it's because they won't be able to make money off of it after. It's all because of the fucking money. But good for him. He should own this shit.
And he paid $20 million of his own money to produce it. So
Yeah, exactly right. And he's please, I remember reading that people were. I don't know if it was people were mad. I remember reading that, studio people were
like the trades are kind of like hidden on the fact, like, oh, well, $60 million opening, it's not profitable yet. It's not profitable yet.
Fuck Variety for that. Also,
and here's the thing, like, it's kind of made me call into question: is the 2.5 times the budget figure even accurate anymore? Or is this even feasible in a post-COVID world? Because I remember seeing like the A24 declares, Civil War is a triumphant box office success. Or the 20th Century Studios, the producers said that it was a triumphant box office success. Did not quite hit that 2.5 mark. Like both those movies got about, maybe The Menu was a little higher, but like 2.5, like it makes me wonder, like, because it's not transparent where this money goes. Right. And especially in the streaming era, there is just no way to see where this money is heading. I know Brady Corbet has not gotten $1. Well, at least for when a while ago, he hadn't gotten $1 of Brutalist dollars, even though the movie had grossed $50 million against a $10 million budget. They're like, oh, the investors have to get paid back still. It all just seems really shady. I mean, we all know about Hollywood accounting, so I'm starting to wonder who is actually I feel like movies are a lot more profitable than they're letting on. But that's me getting a little conspiratorial.
No, and listen, I believe you. You're probably right. I don't really trust none of them. For real. They don't seem very trustworthy. But I really, more than anything, I think just appreciate Sinners' existence. And the fact that it is here, and it is like so, or at least is as big of a movie as it is. And like, the fact that he was able to shoot on this format, that's very rare. This is the only film coming out this year that was shot with IMAX film cameras.
Yeah, they're really marketing the format every time it does come around, though. And I wonder how much leverage that's doing, but I don't know. People are seeing it in IMAX.
I read that it's part of its box office, like it made what, 60
million in its first weekend.
Yeah, and about 10 or 11 million of that was from IMAX screens.
Okay. So that's really significant.
Yeah.
For not a lot of IMAX.
Yeah, it is. I've been like it's, as word of mouth has been growing specifically about the IMAX format. And like, Ryan Coogler did that 10-minute like featurette basically about like the different formats and everything. Yeah. Like weeknight showings and like midday showings are selling out.
It was like with Oppenheimer.
Right, exactly. Part of that was what drew me in. And I'm like, it's big as fuck and it's cool and it's gorgeous.
It's a giant screen.
I'm like, it's big as fuck. I don't know what else to say. Like the screen takes up the entire wall. Of course I want to see it in IMAX.
And as they say, like when you're looking dead center of the IMAX screen, the edge of the frame is in your peripheral, so it feels more real. It takes up your entire vision, and it's true immersion. You're not just looking at a screen.
Right, exactly. And then on top of it, the 70mm print was just gorgeous. But no, Sinners gets a resounding recommendation from me. Yes. I think if I were to rate it, like I said, I don't have any major problems with it. There's more like nitpicky things and issues that I have. But so I think I would land at a 4.5 out of 5, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Yes. I mean, and also considering like part of it is like, yes, I love this because it's a Black movie, but also I'm like, you have to understand like a lot of some of the pieces of genre that we've been talking about, like, are not exactly things that I would have gone for. It's like or at least, 5 years ago, I was not going to go see a movie about vampires. Like I did not see Get Out in theaters. Oh. Yeah. Like, which sounds crazy to say. And I love Get Out. I
didn't either. I missed it, but
I caught it when it got home, or when it came, or actually we got a screener for it, I believe, and that was how I watched it. But
you just weren't a horror guy?
I just wasn't a horror guy, but I remember everybody around me loved it. They like my sister went to see it multiple times. Like she was telling me about it. Like I remember I was on a school field trip like the weekend it came out, and everybody was like trying to convince the teacher to like let them go see it. She didn't, because we were all in middle school. Like,
my grandma saw it, which my grandma never watched horror. Well, she did sometimes,
but no. So it's like, and as much as I love Get Out, as black as that movie is, as smart as I think that movie is and the script is, I did not see it in theaters. Mm-hmm. So, I'm like, Sinners is something like, you have to understand me giving it a 4.5, a 9 out of 10, and being so like, enthusiastic about it is like, it means it's something. It's something. What would you rate Sinners?
Okay, I haven't been rating movies for a long
while. You're not a rater.
I used to be.
Letterboxd.
I used to be, but I'd been wrestling with it for a long while. I don't like to put movies in a box like that. I don't like to assign numbers to art generally. But if I had to rate this, I would say 4.5 out of 5 stars. Joe Bob says, check it out.
See it now. I'm glad we're in agreement about that. I think this is a resounding recommendation from the On the Real podcast for
the Minecraft movie. That's what we've been talking about. Actually.
Yeah, we've been talking about a Minecraft movie the entire time.
We didn't even really talk about the vampires that
much,
which is fine.
It didn't come up.
It's the second half of the movie. The vampires bite people. They get stabbed with wooden stakes.
They do. It's still like, once you find out they're vampires, all the standard rules of vampires apply.
Except this hive mind thing.
And also, because you are obviously just more well versed on vampires in film than I am. Is it a common thing for them to not be able to like enter a space without being invited in?
It's fairly common, yes. Like Let the Right One In does that, but it's often, I think, it's not as common in modern vampire movies since like the 80s. I think Fright Night didn't. I think Fright Night did away with that, but Lost Boys did. So it was it's kind of been a coin toss, but it is a good device. But some people just find it to be an obstacle.
Yeah, I think it was used fantastically in this movie, and it has a deeper meaning, I think, in this story and in this context. For sure, like I was explaining earlier, go see Sinners. Go see Sinners. We're nearing the end. To wrap up, Blake, I like to ask if my guests have a movie that they'd like to recommend and a movie that they are looking forward to.
Okay, I will start with my anticipation because that's shorter. So I've been hearing from Dead Meat and other people that have come out of Overlook Film Festival and some other film festivals that the Ugly Stepsister.
I heard about this. It was at Sundance.
Yes.
This year.
I'm being told it's a lean, mean, gory Cinderella story, similar to The Substance, not dissimilar to The Substance, but it's being marketed like The Substance. And they say, actually, this marketing is not accurate to what the movie feels like. It's more of a slow burn, but it is still a disgusting horror comedy. And that's what I've gotten. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Okay. So is that coming out soon?
It's out now.
Oh, it's out now.
It's in theaters. I have to go see it this weekend, maybe. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay. I'm going to find the time. But it's just kind of far. It's limited release. But it's getting such good reviews. So The Ugly Stepsister is what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
And what I was going to recommend Zalowski's Possession. And I will recommend it still. I'll recommend that any day of the week. But it feels like I just got to go and recommend. I feel like since we've been talking about like black vampire movies and exploitation movies specifically, I want to recommend maybe a less exploitative movie from that world. So I don't know if have you heard of Death by Temptation?
I have not. No.
Okay, so this was a Trauma release, which if you know what Trauma is, they're the Toxic Avenger people. Okay. But this was not a Trauma movie at all. It was the only film directed by one James Bond III.
His name is James.
His name is James Bond III. Yes,
I'm googling this now. That's
yeah. Shot by Ernest Dickerson, Spike Lee's cinematographer.
He's one of my favorite cinematographers.
Yes, shot by Ernest Dickerson. Has a small role with Samuel L. Jackson pre-fame. It is a vampire movie, a very, very different vampire movie though. It's got some humor, got some gore. It's got some amazing colors, use of colors, and
That's Dickerson.
Like James Bond himself plays the main character, but he's such a schlubby, put upon guy, and I kind of respect that. So if you want to watch another black vampire movie from that
1990, I see.
Yeah, 1990. I recommend that. Or Ganja and
Hess. Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say.
No, but
because that's the one that people know about.
And Spike Lee remade that one.
Yeah, he did. The Sweet Blood of Jesus.
Yeah, but Death by Temptation. That one's a special film.
Okay, that's good. I'm looking at this now. I've never heard of it, but I see Bill Nunn is in it as well.
It's spelled DEF, by the way. I don't know what that means. But
Def, like Def Jam.
Oh, I didn't know what that meant.
Black people. My recommendation is going to be a film. I don't know if I spoke to you about this, but I watched this like just after the last podcast episode came out, so I know it didn't come up on the podcast. So I think it's safe from like the listeners have never heard it, and you've not heard at least from me. A film called The Double from 2013 was like
Kelly Reichardt.
No,
it's with Jesse Eisenberg.
With Jesse Eisenberg and
Richard
Ayoade is the writer-director. Submarine was his first feature film, but he's a comedic actor from
the IT Crowd is what he was known for.
The IT Crowd. I love the IT Crowd. Also, that show's really funny. I'm thinking he's Irish because the main character's Irish. Is he?
I think so.
Okay, but regardless, he's also he's black. That's the other part of it. But The Double. It's a film from its official like theatrical release was in 2014, but festival circuit was 2013. So if you look it up, it'll say 2013. But it's a modern. I say modern in quotes because it's not necessarily set in a specific time period, which seems weird. But it's a modern quote unquote retelling of Kafka's Metamorphosis. And so Jesse Eisenberg plays this like really awkward guy that is like works in this office and nobody really knows him, and like but he does like so much work but is like overlooked or whatever, and he's in love with this girl that works there but she doesn't pay him any mind, and he lives in this like just like all like gray, like fucking like drab, boring ass like apartment with like a singular bed and like one book and like, one fork, one plate kind of thing. And the apartment building kind of looks like that too. But the entire world looks like that. But anyway, one day he shows up to the office and somebody that looks exactly like him, another movie about twins. I mean, not twins, but like, dual role.
Yeah.
So Jesse Eisenberg shows up and his name is like reversed. So like the main character's name is Simon James and the new guy shows up and he's James Simon. And he's like everything that he's not. Everybody loves him. He like, like does everything, but they're like connected. And so it's like everything that he knows is just from the guy that's awkward, but it's like he's the one that gets all the attention for it. And so then the guy that's awkward is just kind of going crazy while the other guy is, amazing, actually. And so then like, the girl is like actually in love with the other guy and not the awkward one. And then there's this like, push and pull, him trying to figure out how to get rid of him and all that kind of thing. It's very much like I equated it to like Seconds and like A Different Man meets. You said you don't watch Severance, but
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay, yeah, so it has a Severance vibe as well. So it's like Seconds, A Different Man meets Severance. It's kind of like where it goes. I called it a favorite of the festival ass movie. Like it feels like if you saw this at a film festival, like it would be like the best one that you saw there.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. It's also short. It's only 90 minutes. But I love the way that it looks. It has a very interesting use of color and shadow as well. The story is basically about the guy getting gaslit the entire time. And so it was like, it was frustrating me so much. Because I'm like watching stories about people getting gaslit just like makes me, I'm like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. But I still think it was great. And stylistically, I just was way more interesting than I expected. So that would be my recommendation. What I'm looking forward to, 2 films apparently coming out on the same day. I'll speak very briefly about both of them because I don't know too much about either of them, but I like that I don't know too much about either of them. The Phoenician Scheme, the upcoming Wes Anderson film
with Richard Ayoade.
Yes, he is in that. But starring in the main role, Benicio del Toro, and Wes Anderson's kind of usual cast of characters, except for like Bill Murray's not in it. But Tom Hanks is kind of the new Bill Murray in Wes Anderson's movies. And The Life of Chuck is releasing on the same day. The written and directed by Mike Flanagan, but it's an adaptation of a Stephen King short story.
I think it's a short story.
Yes. Short story, yeah. But it's not, as far as I know, not like a horror.
It's not horror, which is weird for Mike Flanagan. But
and
someone asked me, like, when I mentioned it, who said, "Is it a scary one or a sad one?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's all Stephen King stories, so it's a sad one."
It's probably a sad one, but it won the People's Choice at TIFF last year. And so I remember when it won, because it was news, because it was not going to be released before the end of the year. And so that meant, because usually, like, whoever wins People's Choice at TIFF is kind of an indicator for like Oscars and the award season. I think that, and it's, it's Neon. I trust Neon. Not to be like they're the new A24, but they are the new A24, basically. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be fun, but I think it'll be a worthwhile experience.
I think it might be a bit fun. I think it might have a little humor. It's got a bunch of crazy, wacky doodle cameos, I'm told.
I'm excited for whatever it is. But yeah, The Life of Chuck and The Phoenician Scheme, two movies that I think we're probably going to be hearing about for the rest of the year, just as far as awards and stuff.
No, actually, we'll forget about them here, but
yeah, we'll probably forget about them after March or whenever the date for the next Oscars is. But I mean, unless they're like, life-altering, life-changing, or like, just completely new and unseen, like Sinners. Sinners we will not forget about after Oscars come time next year. And I don't think Sinners is gonna necessarily do well at the Oscars, but I think it has a chance to do some damage.
Yeah, they want more crowd pleasers that aren't Marvel movies at the Oscars. So Sinners is right there.
Yeah, Sinners is right there, and they love Ryan Coogler. The Academy is a fan of Ryan Coogler, so maybe that might be what does it.
Yeah,
that's it. That we're at the end
of the reel.
You've been on the reel. Thank you so much for joining.
No,
thank you for
being
here. Thank you so much for listening, audience. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at OTR with Andrew. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at the OTR Andrew Pod. You can follow me on Letterboxd at AndyMike1209. That's ANDYMIKE1209. And Blake, do you have any socials that you would like to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me at Blakeo123. That's BLAKEYO123, as in the numbers. Do not spell them. You can follow me there you can follow me at that name on Instagram and Twitter. And actually, I'm not on Twitter.com anymore because it's run by somebody that's not very nice, I'm told. But yeah, you can find me on Letterboxd.com at Blake Douglas, where I probably speak with a lot more conviction than I did in this podcast about the movies. And check out my film Tasting Room at Tasting Room Film on Instagram. That's all I got for you.
Period. We love. Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.